Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here tonight. It is Friday the 13th, so it felt fitting that we should do some kind of a game, maybe a horror themed game. I don't know how horrific this will end up. We'll have to see. It's definitely got like kind of more of a murder mystery type of feel to it. And I think I had this kind of on the books for a little bit, but then I also got a message, I think it was last night, from the Extra Life people saying that they were running a Friday the 13th fundraising challenge. So I thought, why not? We're running a game. So I hastily tried to scramble to put together a very small menu of just really the re rolls out there on our Extra Life page. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight in lieu of the channel points redemptions tonight. If you want to participate in the game and buy rerolls and things like that, you can do that through the Extra Life donor link that'll be popping up there in the chat occasionally. If you ever want to prompt it for someone, it's just exclamation point, then the word Extra Life, all one word, and then that'll pop up. I think so. The challenge was for us to raise $100 on Friday the 13th, and I think we're just $40 shy of that. So it's all for a good cause. It's all to help sick and injured kids. I'm specifically raising money for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, but I know usually our Extra Life offerings happen towards the end of Thanksgiving. Historically, we've been doing that during the week of Thanksgiving. All the DMs of the channel will pick a day and run a game and try to raise some money for the Children's Hospital of their choice. So this is just kind of like a little, I guess, teaser for what we'll be doing later on in November. So, with that said, we're likely going to need players for those games once people start shoring up their schedules and things like that. So, if you're interested in playing in games with us, definitely check out our Discord server. I know I have a Dolmenwood game that I'm going to be offering. I still have to create the sign up for that, but I will be posting that in the Discord server. So, there's a lot of people I think that were kind of interested in that, so I'm gonna put that out there so that we can do a Dolmenwood game together. And I know there's going to be other things that are going to pop up, so definitely join that, be a part of our community, and potentially jump in and play in games with us. So, I think before we begin, maybe we'll just do some just real quick kind of introductions of who we are and maybe for the players here, tell us a little bit about the character that you're bringing into the game tonight. But I'll start and just introduce myself. I'm Alex. I'm the going to be the DM of this particular game. Um, I've been playing D&D for quite a long time, but maybe more seriously for about the past 10 years or so. Um, and yeah, happy to have you all with us. And so maybe I'll pass it over next to Percy.
Hello, I am Percy, and tonight I'm going to be playing Pearhorn Nightblossom, who's a Ghostwise Halfling Artificer of the first level, and he's not really sure that he should be here because, he's not really a hero. He's all he's got is his little crossbow, and it's got a hot and cold setting, but he's a little scared, so he's just gonna hide behind the rest of you, okay?
Awesome. Thank you. Let's head over next to Casey.
Hey, I'm Casey. I've been playing D&D for quite some time, but never seriously. Tonight I will be playing Woot the Owlin Monk. He's a bedraggled-looking fellow. Looks like he's either just been very surprised or is just about to molt. Hard to tell which way it's going to go with him. And he wears a sash fairly proudly, and it says, "You can become a god too. Ask me how."
Is it possible to play D&D seriously? Maybe. I don't know.
You said you did it for the last 10 years, so I just said no.
That's what Dirty Dwarf's question was. Is it possible to play D&D seriously? Um,
Not with this crew.
no, no. uh, let's go over next to Cliff.
I am Cliff, and I am playing a character called Orville the Green, who um, was a high elf wizard, um, but he died, um, and his body was brought, and somehow the guy that they brought my body to was able to uh, trans take my mind and put it into uh, a construct of sorts, into a modron, and so um, that's how I'm looking now. Basically, a cube with a couple of arms and legs, um, and I'll see how that goes. I'm not really knowing how I feel about that, but
Do you think like you
I'm
occasionally get
thinking a
some
little
like
bit.
tri
What's
drones
that?
and duo drones and mono drones to start following you around like a conga line throughout Sigil?
Yeah, I am a cube, so that would be a quad drone, and who is actually a fairly good ranking drone. Then
Oh, you missed an
do
opportunity there.
you know a quad drone can uh, can hit 4 times? He's not going to let me do that
I'm not.
though.
All right, Casey's got a joke.
No. It's just you
Oh,
just missed it there though. If he's a cube and he's dancing, it wouldn't be a conga. It would be a square dance.
there you
Yeah.
go.
I'll go back in my hole.
All right. Well, we'll bring it around to first time on the stream, Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I played D&D about 3 decades ago, and then when COVID hit, I kind of started getting a little bit more interested again. And yeah, this will be the first time I've sort of dipped my toes into 5e ever. I'm playing a rogue halfling, so nothing too exciting. But he is new to Sigil, so everything is strange and mysterious, and he's sort of divided between being really kind of curious and just very alarmed.
Awesome. So this is the group here for tonight, and you, for whatever reason, you all find yourself in Sigil, the city of doors, this place that is said to be at the center of the multiverse by some, and it sits atop the spire and is a very odd city in construction and layout in that it's built upon a torus. So if you just imagine like the inside of like a tire or a ring, um, it just kind of loops, and you can look up from the street level on one side and maybe through the haze and everything see streets and such on the opposite side. And so you all are going to end up being summoned here for our adventure tonight to the barracks, which is the um, kind of the headquarters, home base of the Harmonium. And so it is this kind of large granite structure that is laid out on the first floor. There's easy entry into it, and then on the inside, winding hallways that take you to various places and offices that this very powerful faction within Sigil operates. And they have summoned you because they have a task they are trying to contract with some adventurers with, and you are the four that have answered that summons. And so when you arrive at the barracks, you are greeted by the staff and the guards there who get your details and learn why you're there, and then they um, escort you through the winding halls to an office where they're just like kind of a very orderly, well appointed room, big oak desk in the center, um, lots of seating available. They were expecting the four of you, and so big plush overstuffed chairs on the opposite side of this desk. And you were looking as you come into the room at a a middle-aged Barriar. So if you've never seen a Barriar before, they're basically the idea of like a centaur, but with more like a ram, like ram features. They have horns, and so the person that you were looking at looks to be based on the insignia that they are wearing, a captain within the Harmonium, and she has a very stern demeanor, kind of graying, curled horns off her brow, with hair to match, and she is flanked by another individual, a sharp-featured elf whose insignia would indicate that they are maybe a lower rank, a lieutenant. And they just are standing at attention, kind of a few feet behind her. And as you enter, she takes your names and she says, "Very good. I think we are all accounted for here, so we'll get right to the chase. There have been a string of killings over the past week, and this job, we have decided, is going to require a basher's touch. You see, we have reason to believe that these killings may be motivated, may have a political leaning to them. All of the victims are all high-ranking members of the other factions, and that is why we have called you here. We are concerned that the Harmonium's involvement in this much further, such a direct way, could sully this investigation, and we need objective voices to bring law and order back to the city. The most recent of the deaths, and she's gonna maybe point to Orville and suggest that the most recent of these killings, we think that you might have a personal connection to the individual that was found. A man by the name of Thetis. I believe he is the one that is responsible for your current situation there. Being stuck in that body, which I don't believe is originally yours. Is that correct?
I have no memory of how I got this body.
Oh. Well. Well, then they kind of look at each other. Maybe we could scratch him off the list. And she continues and tells you that there have been 3 people thus far that have been victims. The most recent of which is this Thetis, who was found dead at his home. The others, 3 days ago, Brahm Heartshield, who is an influential dwarf from a faction called the Believers of the Source, was found in his smithy, murdered. And then the 5th individual was a mage from the Signers, or the Sign of One. She was found lifeless in her observatory. They tell you that all 3 of these bodies have already been collected by a faction called the Heralds of Dust, or as they're more informally known, the Dusters, who are known collectors of the dead and caretakers of the dead. And so all 3 of those bodies would be with them at the mortuary, and the Harmonium would probably welcome you to take a look and head there and see if you can find any evidence upon the bodies about any clues that you might pick up. And they would also suggest that Thetis's home, the most recent killing, it had just happened last night, might still have some clues or something that you might be able to pick up on, to help narrow down or find another lead. Captain Core, she will also impress upon you that time is of the essence, because another faction in Sigil, the Hands of Havoc, well, they've already claimed responsibility for these killings, but it seems very unlikely. They're agents of chaos, and they are likely just trying to muddy the waters. They're concerned that there might be some copycat killings that may happen in the following days, weeks, if the truth is not found out and this is put to an end.
Have you questioned the modrum that Thetis had?
They look at each other and they say that they had not seen any Modron there when they came upon the scene.
Oh, he was there when I became aware of that I was in this body.
Well, if the Modron had been killed, its body may not have been left behind. It would have ended up in Mechanus. It would have blipped back
That's
to its
too
home
bad.
plane.
I kind of liked him.
For this task, if you're able to help us with this, we'll be willing to pay each of you a salary of 50 gold. And a promise of future work, potentially, with the harmonium. And she'll say, questions?
Were there any other witnesses?
They have not found any witnesses.
Or no one who heard or heard something? Or...
No one that they have found in their brief, investigation, but they're kind of hoping that in pulling you all in that you might be able to pick up on somebody or find some leads that you might be able to question
would
some
we
folks.
know if they were in the same area or neighborhood?
No, kind of all over the city. So Thetis, his home is in let me see, I gotta pull up the map here. His home would be over in the Hive district. Brom Hearthshield would have been pretty close to the Great Foundry over here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what's her name? Jalara Silverveil, the mage from the Sign of One. Hers would have been down on kind of near the Great Bazaar.
Were they all mages?
No.
Did they know each other in any way?
There isn't a link that the Harmonian have been able to find thus far. They're all from different factions. There isn't any natural connection that they could figure out.
Too bad we didn't have Thetis's skill. We could just put one of their minds in a Moldrum body and then they could tell us who killed them.
So during the conversation, Woot's been just like turning his head, watching each one, but he seems to focus just out of his right eye. So when someone talks off to his left, he twists his head like 160 some degrees and then is looking out that way before he comes back around again. As you're asking the questions, he looks over at you, Orville, and he goes, "Would you agree that the most important thing to find would be a witness, and that the most likely witness would be this Modron of which you speak? So visiting Thetis's house would be more important than visiting the Dusters." Did the
Maybe.
microphone survive?
Yes. Yeah, it came clear.
I just thought if we visited the Dusters, I might get a glimpse of my old body they might have yet. Kind of would like to see it again if I could.
Oh, it's been some time since I'd considered the Dusters. How long do they hold on to the corpses? And he'll think back about his knowledge of the area. Dusters, is it like we burn them today or do we burn them tomorrow?
Well, it probably depends on the last wishes of the deceased, and it might be like a questionable thing because clearly you're not dead. So hard to say what they have done. Might be something you could inquire about because
Ooh.
perhaps Thetis was the one that dealt with that, and you're just not sure what he did.
Yeah, he is the one that took my body, so maybe the Dusters don't have it. Maybe it's in his residence someplace.
Yeah,
Ooh.
could
That
be.
would be another vote for visiting Thetis first.
Yeah, yeah. What?
Was it closer?
Can I ask how they died?
So the harmonium would suggest that Thetis was stabbed. They say they found him with what looked like 3 puncture wounds. The person that died 3 days ago, Brahm, had not a similar wound, but it was like a slashing wound on his neck, like his throat had been cut open with some kind of a slashing motion. And Jalara, there wasn't any physical trauma to her when they found the body, but then the Dusters came and claimed the body before they could do any further um, investigation of her. But there was no blood, there was no physical trauma that they saw. So they're probably their best guess is that maybe it was a poisoning or something, but different than the other two, which further confuses them as
So what makes you think these are related then?
they think that they're related because of their rank in the faction. So they'll probably explain at this point. We're worried that somebody is trying to start the faction wars again. And they'll probably get into a little bit of history with you that at one time, or maybe at several times in the past, these factions are made up of like-minded individuals who are trying to convince others that their point of view about the meaning of the multiverse or how things should be is the correct or absolute truth, and if they can amass influence in such a way, they might actually be able to shape the multiverse to be more like their vision of how things should be. And at times this is, usually it's a battle of wits or a battle of minds, but sometimes it has come to actual violence in the streets, which has had implications for the multiverse. And so Harmonium being all about law and order, they're trying to avert that, and that's sort of why they're bringing you guys in, is because they're worried that the appearance of them getting too involved in this, if that is what it is, could inflame that sort of political / philosophical conflict. So they would say that they don't really know that they're connected, but it's like the feeling, it's their hunch, it's their concern that they could be.
Well, for 50 gold, I'm willing to believe you.
I'll say.
Yeah, but we got to solve
I,
the case first.
I think that they're trying to say that they don't want us to believe them. They just want us to do the job.
Well, let's get on with it.
So the day is young. It's probably like 10 a.m. or so. So there's nothing that says you can't do all of the above. It's just maybe like the order of where you want to go first.
Would anyone have an objection to Thetis, the Dusters, and then from there?
Makes sense
No.
to me.
Let's see. So heading to Thetis's would be like, I guess somewhere over, like, not actually, honestly, not that far away probably from the mortuary. So you'd be in the neighborhood should you want to go there also. Let's see. I think I had a little map of Thetis's. So let me see if I can find that.
As Woot's walking along, he's like got his wings sort of swept forward a little bit, and he's trying to groom out his feathers. But like every moment he's trying to get something clean, something sooty or dirty is falling on it again.
So you all travel across town and make your way into his Thetis's home. It's kind of this kind of square 2-story building. First floor is almost a perfect square, and then on top there's like a penthouse that's a little bit smaller than the first floor, and the door is unlocked, and you're able to easily enter in the front door. And there's lots of serpent themed motifs in here, like pretty much like right. I didn't make this map, so like this first statue, we're gonna say that this is like a serpent-headed man wielding a two-handed sword that is situated right there, and like a lot of the art on the walls has the same kind of um, motif. And
So
as you make
Felix
your
is kind of looking around and seeing if there's anything valuable.
yeah, so the paintings themselves are probably worth some amount of gold to the right buyer. Um and we'll say that above the hearth here, you can see that there's a couple of there's like some chalices that are made of like some kind of a gold um material that look like they could be valuable. There's nobody around to really stop you from pilfering the place. But as you move over there to like maybe take a look or examine those objects, you can see there's definitely like a crimson stain on the floor in front of the hearth.
Hmm.
Ooh, I
So I
was
take
just
it this
thinking
is where it happened, eh?
it was, but I was thinking the same thing. We should come back for the estate sale. This is very gaudy, but likely available at great discount.
Hmm. Well, we could just see what's here right now.
Oh, I suppose. Uh, and he'll be like leaned down super far, like wings counterbalancing him as he's checking out the stains on the ground and sort of like looking around.
Can
So
you
as I'm
fly
looking,
with
I'm also
those
looking to see if there's
wings?
anything missing.
Things that would be missing would probably be harder to tell. I'm going to say there's 5 goblets there above the hearth that are worth 5 gold pieces each. And I mean, I guess like the distinct thing, like if the killing had happened here and it happened with some kind of a piercing weapon, it is not around. Alan, did you want to do an investigation check as you look at that stain?
I'm probably actually aiming more for survival. Like, where did the killer go from here? Like, since the dusters have been in there, they probably carried the body away. But is there any signs of the blood splattered footsteps went this way as compared to that way? So I'm more looking for tracking than what happened.
Sure. Give me a survival check.
Sure. I'm not good at that either, but that's what I was thinking. I was wrong. I'm good at that.
Yeah, so there looks like this there's sort of like this wooden mat that is put down over the stonework of the floor, and on one side of it it almost looks like up in this corner, like there was some attempt maybe that somebody made to maybe use that to kind of like wipe their boot off. Like there's just like some splatter there that like doesn't match up with like where the slashing and whatever happened. And then you could pick up like some faint traces of some material that seems to have circled around to the back dining area through the kitchen and up the stairs and then out onto the balcony.
So Woot's kind of like super hunched over, like low to the ground, unnatural for a humanoid because his wings spread behind him, keeping him out, like a chicken pecking with one eye down. And he just tracks over to that corner, and then he kind of works his way around to the stairs. He says, "I found something," and then you can hear him like claw-footing his way up the stairs.
So as you're kind of tracking that, just kind of see what others might be doing. Oh, hey Tux, I see that you had redeemed a player reroll. So tonight I'm actually doing a little bit of fundraising for Extra Life. So I'm gonna reject that one, give you your points back. But if anybody wants to get some rerolls for the group, they can do that through the Extra Life portal there.
Which is the reason why the DM has a reroll, because I didn't feel it right that I got myself a reroll, so I got him one instead.
It was very forward thinking of Percy to invest in the DM so that he could preserve your level 1 character's life. You don't want to end up in a Modron body after all.
I want to be a Modron, and I'll cover you, Tux. There we go.
So, Orville, you said that he transferred your body into another body? Do you think maybe he would have done that for himself?
I don't think he could. He would have to have died, and then he wouldn't have been able to do it then.
But what about the missing Modron? What if he went into that thing?
The way I was told about it, that the Modron body that I was transferred into was not alive at the time, whereas the other Modron that was here was alive, unless he killed it first. I don't think he would do that. I have no memory of how he does that, so I don't know if he would be capable of doing that at all to himself, or why he would want to. Hoot, you look an awful lot like my familiar. I have an owl familiar, and you do look a lot like him.
From like halfway up the stairs, you hear, "He must be very handsome."
Yeah, he is. He is.
Well, thank you.
So if people are heading upstairs, I think that Felix will kind of take one of the goblets just in case we need it for later.
Absolutely. It's good to invest in your
Just
future.
in case it's evidence. Yeah.
Evidence, yes.
There it is.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
they were
not sure.
drinking out of them.
You got it. You absolutely could do that. So it sounds like some of the most pretty much everybody is heading up to Owlin's finding up on the balcony outside.
Yes.
Yeah, my wings are flapping. I'm trying to get up there a little bit faster, but they're not doing anything.
Awesome. So yeah, you guys would be able to make your way out onto the outside landing there, and Owlin would be able to point out that it looks like whoever came up here likely went down over the ledge off of the second story down onto the street level. But anybody who is proficient in investigation or perception.
I could probably.
Oh, good. Perhorn with the 19 and Orville with the 19. Okay, so probably the two of you are going to both spot this, but right at the point where Orville, or sorry, Owlin suggests that the boots, that little bit of remnant blood leads over the edge. You see that on hanging from, or maybe like on the just like on the landing of one of these windows here, there's a medallion. Looks like it was broken or snagged on a piece of the infrastructure whenever the person tried to make haste off of the ledge, but there's some kind of emblem there.
Can we get it, or is it too far down?
Yeah, you like probably have you need like some kind of like a pole or like the the end of a sword or something. You could kind of flip it up to yourselves. But it has a symbol.
They could just get a quick. Could I get a quick check? I think we've got halfling, and Modron, so like the average party height is like 2.5 feet.
Grabbing ankles, you form a little bit of a.
Just watching this happen, Woot's just like sitting there like, and his wings flutter a few times. He's like just watching. He's like,
Can you fly down and get it?
oh yes. He just steps to the edge, just sort of hops off and like kind of controlled fall down, picks it up, and then comes back up from inside.
I am just going to see how easy it is to create a little image here.
Ooh.
Okay, maybe not that easy. I'm not going to waste time on that. So it's basically a medallion that sort of looks like a winged dragon, I would
Can
say.
you just put it in discard?
I'm just describing it. I mean, it doesn't
okay.
really matter. And I think Owlin, you've been around long enough in Sigil, because you're a part of a faction, sort of, right? Or at least you believe in.
I'm trying to form a faction. Would you like to know about how you too can become a god and not have to deal about being in Sigil? Sigil?
Yeah, so you probably have at least a little bit of affinity for the Aether, and maybe have been around long enough that you've got some details about the city, but this is a symbol of the Mercy Killers, which is a faction that probably has some similarities with the Harmonium in terms of a desire to see justice brought about, but they have maybe more of a vigilante, we don't need due process. Like we know evil when we see it, and we will administer punishment how they see fit. So that's kind of their deal.
And so as Woot comes in and he's kind of holding get the medallion pinched between his talons so as not to mess with it, and he sort of offers it up to Pearhorn and Orville, who seem to have some sort of like insight into how this investigation thing should go. Well, I think I'd recognize the medallion of the Merciculus, but it's a bit on the nose. And he sort of just like gestures where a nose should be.
As in, maybe
Would this be
it
their
was
style, though?
staged?
Wouldn't they have just broken the door down if they were gonna? I think they're kind
Well,
of scary. I think I try to avoid them.
it's a bit like the Heralds of Havoc, Hands of Havoc having claimed responsibility. It's maybe a bit too obvious, but it is a lead.
When you were down on the street level, where outside the window, did you happen to see any further clues of where this individual might have gone?
I think at
Well,
the point, just at the point like where they would have dipped off, like even if you go down to the street level, it'll just be kind of like there's not like that material like doesn't continue to follow any further. Like you lose the trail after that point.
And it's just like near the front door.
Yeah.
Too much foot traffic and soot.
Speaking of foot traffic, are there I don't know, like local beggars or something that we could question, like might have seen something?
You
Yeah.
do seem to have
Is
your
this that
favorite
kind of street?
spot.
Yeah.
I wish I could talk to them, but I can't.
You can't.
He can't.
Maybe we should look upstairs.
You want to look around a little bit in upstairs in like kind of the bedroom area here.
Yeah.
Well, give me a investigation check.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good.
So, kind of wedged in between. So one of the beds, you find a journal that's kind of wedged in between the mattress and the bed frame. That seems to be like a personal diary, personal journal of Thetis's. And there's like a scrap of paper that's like sticking out of it, almost like a bookmark.
What's they?
Take a look. Look, everybody! Look what I found.
So as you're flipping through it, it's a lot of it is it seems almost like experimental, like his notes about different things, very much related to what has happened with your companion here. About he was trying to, a lot of his experiments were trying to figure out how to keep a Modron body after it died. Because he had this issue with the Modron bodies, if they died, they would go back to Mechanus, and so he was trying to do some experimentation to try to keep one around, and it seemed that he found his way by transferring consciousness of the living Orville into a living Modron. It's not exactly what he was trying to do, but it was a step closer to his ultimate goal. But then the nature of the journal starts to change, and particularly within the past like maybe week and a half or so, it almost starts to become sort of gibberish almost, or very very anxious, very paranoid. There's just like words like ink blots shifting on the page. Are these words, or are they watching me? Every shadow pulses. The walls are alive, breathing, observing. Another entry talks, I can't shake the feeling. Every time I glance outside, every shadow I see feels like something, or someone is observing me. Another entry talks more about his dreams. I've tried to sleep. The presence is always there, even in my dreams. Dreams. No, nightmares. Horrors lurking beyond vision. The lady's gaze grows neglectful. They wait, always watching, always whispering. The void calls. And then that scrap of paper that you have seems unrelated to any of these ramblings. If anything, it looks more like a recipe. It's like a short order, like alchemist kind of thing. It says, in a silver cauldron, place eternal ice. Allow essence to permeate. Slowly introduce dragon's blood. Add powdered moonstone. Like, it's kind of like stuff like that. But the last step, the final step, he just wrote question marks. It looks like something maybe he was trying to work out, but wasn't sure how to complete the process of whatever this is.
Like he's building something, but I don't know what.
Well, what do you think? You knew the
I
guy.
like to. I'm looking at that page and I'm trying to piece together some of those symbols and scribblings that he was putting on to make some sense of it.
Do not
Not
stare too
sure.
long into the void. There's a saying about that, I'm sure.
Isn't there a lady or something in charge of Sigil?
Oh, the Lady of Pain.
The lady.
What did it say about the lady?
Do not say their
what?
name.
Lady's attention or something? What was that?
The lady's gaze grows
Gaze.
neglectful. Yep.
So
He
she's
was.
losing interest.
She
Well-
was. He was quite scared of her.
My particular sect seeks to earn the lady's ire in a very, very minor way, so that we would be kept from Sigil by becoming a god or power, which are forbidden here. If her gaze were to grow neglectful, perhaps such powers or gods are sneaking their way in. That would be.
Heard that. I have heard that a god could actually be in Sigil as long as they didn't exercise their power and could stay under the radar.
I hope not. The religion I'm trying to start is all about that not happening, but I suppose it's possible. Things have been smuggled. Perhaps I'm remembering another reality, but I believe there was a godling that tried to take over the place sometime in the past or future. I think Vecna did that in the past of this particular version, but I
Couple of
don't
years.
remember. Yeah.
I do have a
I think it
tie
had
into
something
that,
to do
but
with dinosaurs, but
yeah,
It
where's
has
that?
something to do with dinosaurs.
This place just gets stranger and stranger.
But if that's the link, then perhaps we're near the. Have all of you looked around the house entirely to see whether that other Modron is still here?
Was there? Is there another stairwell?
Yeah, there is. I forgot that there's a third small kind of attic where the laboratory is, so you guys could take a peek up there. If you were looking for the Modron, that would be the sensible place to take a look. And as you go up there, you've got Orville with you, but he'll be able to attest that this room did not look like this last time he was there. And basically, it looks like somebody took a bludgeoning implement, maybe a hammer, a sledgehammer, and like start to beat the hell out of the walls. There's just big kind of holes every few feet at random intervals on both sides of the room. All of the lab equipment has been smashed and destroyed. It's just there's kind of a strange, kind of acrid smell in the air up here from evaporating chemicals and things like that. But pretty much all of the
Felix. I was just gonna say Felix is leery of magic and stuff like that, so he would avoid touching anything if he could.
yeah, but there's no Modron. I think he had some cage or some cages maybe that had a few in them. They would be all open and kind of looks like even the cages were kind of smashed or broken.
Orville picks up a couple of metal implements and he's absent-mindedly kind of chewing on them because he's hungry.
But why would they smash the walls?
It's
Like-
very odd.
I
Unless
think they were looking for something, weren't they?
And Wood'll just
Ah.
like go along the walls and just his claw, he's like poking into the cracks. Like, did they find anything in the walls? Does one of these reveal like a plaster, over stone or something like that? He's just like, I understand smashing this, but why the walls?
Well, that Thetis guy, do we know it wasn't him? I mean, he was sounding kind of crazy in that journal.
Well, Orville, was he big enough to do such a thing? Like, are these like hammer holes, or are these like somebody threw a bowling ball at the wall?
Yeah, like hammer holes. And like,
Okay.
we'll say there's a sledgehammer that you'll find like kind of discarded off to the side as you're investigating the room. And so there isn't any indication why. Like, there's no secret compartment or anything that you find. It just looks like random vandalism of the room.
Well,
So, out of curiosity, like from the recipe thing, are those ingredients? Would we even be able to notice if they were here?
Make a Arcana check.
Okay, I'll try that.
Let's see. There are probably some of these ingredients. Like one of the ingredients is a root of Yggdrasil. And you'll find like a smashed jar that looks like it has some kind of a gnarled piece of a bit of wood. There's another ingredient that another piece of it calls for a phoenix feather, and you find like a feather that looks like it's got kind of a scarlet red hue to it.
This is just among the stuff on the floor. Or...
Yeah, these are like some of the more like physical objects versus like liquid things you find just like kind of discarded about in the wreckage.
Okay.
You're thinking that maybe we should make this whatever it is? But the last ingredient, he didn't know what it was.
Maybe he never figured it out because someone stopped him.
I think I will. Pearhorn will collect the ingredients that we found and put them in his backpack for later use. Maybe we can figure something out later.
Yeah,
would
absolutely.
any of these ingredients been particularly hard to acquire? That if he had to go out searching for something that was quite rare, would that have attracted attention to him?
I would say all of these things are fairly rare, not impossible to find, but would be valuable. Like dragon's blood. sort of a difficult thing to come by. The limited quantities of it that exist would be pricey. I don't know that any of them, like, to you would be like. What was the question again? Was it like something that would attract attention to him? Maybe,
Yeah, if
maybe.
he was asking around for a particular ingredient, would that have attracted unwanted attention?
Maybe.
That
I
he's
mean,
looking for that.
this isn't like a nice neighborhood. Like, his house is like fairly well appointed, but like if he was asking, and I'm just saying, like, this is reasonable, I think. If he's asking around for expensive things and like the right roguish type, like, but none of this really strikes you as like a robbery exactly, probably because of all the wreckage. Like, the valuable stuff has been left behind.
Especially if they think that this is connected to the other, the other murders. It would, because they didn't live in this neighborhood.
Right.
So I guess, I mean, one thing we might try doing is maybe trying to find somebody who would be able to figure out like what the recipe might be for. Like, is it for getting rid of nightmares or getting rid of visions or something like that? It's like,
Yeah, or any
that
of
what he's
us,
trying to do.
Versed enough in this type of stuff. I'm a wizard.
Not me.
I'm trained, but I'm not a high level wizard.
It's a pretty high DC, but if you want to try to identify what the recipe is, you could.
I would love to try and do that.
What do I roll
Arcana.
for that?
Arcana.
This will go well. I can feel it.
Yeah. I don't know that you could hit this one. So we'll say that you know that it You know that it maybe has a couple of ingredients that share that are alike with like a healing potion, but it's definitely not like, this is way more complex than that.
Well, while you consider that, and Felix secures anything that might be evidence of poisoning or other encounters, perhaps we could go and visit the Dusters and then one of the other locations to see if they have anything in common, if they were working on this similar problem or had other causes for their death beyond their position.
Yeah, what he said.
Who?
You. Let's do it.
Woot.
All right. So next location would be the mortuary.
And just to call out what I had asked before, but would I have seen anyone that I thought looked like I could talk to them on the way out?
Definitely would be people mucking about, kind of beggar types or scavengers. Like,
I mean, I do have a goblet that I could trade for information if I thought it would be worthwhile.
Is it a metal goblet?
Worth 5
Yes.
GP, so yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
so we'll say you're walking in the direction of the mortuary. You're kind of keeping an eye out for something like this. You see somebody just like heavy rags upon themselves, and they just look filthy, like dirty face. There's a little bit of a reek as you like get close, and they're pushing around like a wheelbarrow that's just full of junk, like broken chairs and just bits of stuff that people have thrown out that they've collected it or maybe going to recycle or build into something. You're not really sure. Just looks like garbage to you, but they're wheeling about. It looks like they're maybe collecting stuff in the like alleyways around his neighborhood.
Okay, well, Felix will wander over and just be like, "So what do you got there? Looks like some good stuff."
Hey there, boss. Got I got some blankets here. You know, one you run these through the wash. You get they're just like new. Well, look, this is what is this? Three-legged stool. It mostly flat. He puts down on the ground. It's kind of wobbly.
Not bad.
Got anything metal?
I get some metal. Needed some forks. He's just like pulling out like some old metal
So
forks.
is this your territory? This is where
Oh yeah,
where you do your business? Yeah, you're here all the time.
all the time, all the time.
Any chance you were here 3 days ago?
Yep.
Yeah, and you were there when this Thetis guy. You hear of him?
Oh yeah, he's dead now. I saw they hauled his body out this morning.
Yeah. And were you around the night when he was killed?
Hey,
Did
wait,
you
what?
see anything?
Oh, hey, I don't know nothing. I'm innocent, honest.
I want to show you. Look what I found on this just not too long ago. And I pull out the goblet. I'm just like, look at this thing. This is pretty nice. You might want to. Think you could use something like this?
Yeah. What do I have to do?
You need to tell me if you saw anything that night.
Last night.
Not the night that Thetis died.
Yeah. Let me see. Yep. I do remember. There was a guy. He was visited by he had a lot of weapons. I remember that.
A lot of weapons. Okay.
Yeah, let me see. You can see he was like one of those Githyanki or Githzerai. I'm not sure. I don't really know the difference, but something like that. Lots of weapons, swords, some daggers, and maybe a bow.
You said a Githyanki?
Maybe. Yeah, I think definitely Definitely Gith.
What is that? I'm not from around here. You're gonna have to.
Kind of like an upturned nose like this, and they got kind of like pointy ears and kind of liver spots all over their face, a little greenish, grayish skin.
You see a lot of them around here?
Yeah. There's a lot of them. I remember this guy because he had a lot of weapons and a lot of shinies. He looked dangerous though.
And you see him leave? Or just go in?
Yeah, he definitely left. He jumped off that. Then he like points. I saw him. He took a leap off of there. He looked a little out of it.
Interesting. Well, you know what? That's I think that's worth a goblet to me. How about you hang on to this for me?
Thank you. What else do you want to know? I see stuff all the time.
you see anything interesting, you just find me and let me know.
All right. Throws it in his barrel. Yes, sir.
Hey, I've got some nice rations. Do you want to give me that goblet? I'll give you these rations.
No, are you crazy? He starts like wheeling his wheelbarrow around. He
thought you were hungry.
He scurries off. He's paranoid that you're going to eat his goblet.
So any of you guys know what Yankee is?
Ooh,
yeah, they're around here. Yeah.
You could think of them as an emaciated orc or a very ugly elf.
They've got skills. They got really good skills.
I suppose.
What sort of folks do they work for? Like what kind of what would some? Well, we should probably head to the mortuary, but maybe we can walk and talk.
I hear they ride dragons.
Whoa, that'd be really
Interesting.
cool.
So are they mercy killers?
Well, there's Gith Yankees, and then there's the other faction of Gith. I don't think they get along. I'm not
Very.
sure.
But they wouldn't be associated with the mercy killers, or would they?
Ooh, they
Because
could
that's
be.
we found that
don't know
medallion,
about
right? Like, so looks like it probably was a decoy. Interesting.
Well, the factions do have their halls and hangouts. If we feel the need, we could swing by and scout, but I really wouldn't want to rile them.
I hear you. I don't want more trouble than I can handle.
So, you all are starting to make your way over to the mortuary. Sort of stands, I guess, as a singular structure. Very tall, very grim. It has kind of rises up from the street level, and there's sort of like a circular walkway that kind of wraps up the stem, and then there are little platforms that kind of branch out from the main tower as sort of domes. From the street level, like from afar, it kind of looks like almost like a mushroom that kind of looms over, and then the domes kind of loom over the slums underneath. And so I see that my reroll thing wasn't updating, so I'm trying to get that going here. Well, there we go. And so we'll kind of skip to the chase here. You're going to ask around. There's definitely and we got a donation.
Ooh.
So we have an anonymous player reroll. So thank you so much, anonymous. I think that brings us just like maybe $10 away from that initial goal for the night. So thank you so much. We'll add the player reroll. The players, you got 6 rerolls in the pot, and so you can use those at any time. I've got one, but I have not rolled any dice yet, I don't think. So I'll be saving mine for a critical moment.
Party's been averaging 19 so far, so we're doing real
Yeah,
good.
you guys haven't needed them yet. So the group of you can see that there are some dusters moving about, these cloaked figures. Many of them have pretty grim visages. Oh, it looks like Anonymous also just redeemed something for $10. Could it be a DM reroll? Could I get so lucky? Yes, it's a DM reroll. So thank you so much, Anonymous. We really appreciate that. Yeah, I think that gets us to the goal for tonight. So that was the Friday the 13th challenge from Extra Life. So thank you all so much. I'm always just blown away by the generosity of this group. So I appreciate that. Hit that goal, yo. Thank you. Thank you, Lyra. So you managed to like talk to some of these dusters, you know, they kind of were expecting that somebody was going to be dropping in today to check out these bodies or whatnot, and they will bring you to one of the domes and get you connected with one of the dusters whose name is Master Calloway. He's an undertaker here. He has sunken eyes, human, but he stands rather tall, maybe a 6 foot or 6'5" or so. He's wearing a dark gray cloak. And then you're escorted in to a chamber. It's almost like has kind of like a infirmary kind of feel to it. There's like these metal iron like stretchers kind of laid out, and he's in the midst of some pretty gruesome work. He's got gloves on, and he's got a scalpel in his hands, and he's like cutting open some human's forehead, and it looks like he's removing the brain and putting it into a bowl. And he doesn't really give you a very warm welcome as you enter in. He just says, you must be the ones that the Harmonium are working with. Give me just a moment, and I will be right with you.
Can I help?
You wish to help?
Gonna bring up a pellet.
Do you believe in the true death?
I believe you die when you die. I'm
Sometimes.
trying to avoid that.
Hmm.
Well, unless you're him, I guess.
Yeah, then you can come back.
No, just wait out in the hall. I'll be right with you. And he takes like 10 minutes or so to finish up what he is doing. And as he emerges, you can see it looks like he's maybe cleaned himself off. He's removed his gloves, and he says, all right, follow me. And he'll lead you throughout the mortuary to a very cold room that has these drawers that are inserted into the walls just like a crypt. And he'll start to like kind of pull the drawers out, and there are 3 that he opens for you. Each one has one of the bodies of these victims. The first, Orville will be able to identify immediately as Thetis, kind of this older human man. Like immediately you'll see that it seems like all of them are naked also. They don't have any of their belongings or anything on them. They're preserved and everything right there, and you could see the evidence of 3 stab wounds right in his chest. And then the second body is that of what was his name? He was a dwarf. Brom Hearthshield. He looks as if he has the wound on his neck that you were told about by the Harmonium, and it looks like that has been kind of sutured up or whatever. And then the last is that of Lady Silvervale, Jalara Silvervale. And just as the Harmonium said, there doesn't seem to be any physical trauma that you see upon her body just by first glance.
Orville's going to want to examine her body a little bit closer to make sure there's to search for signs of how she died.
Sure. Give me a medicine check. And happy with a 13? Or would you like to use one of your 6 rerolls?
I don't know. I think I'll stay with a 13.
Okay. I would say with a 13, what you notice about her is that, well, first of all, her eyes are open and her pupils are dilated. And it does look as if, as you're inspecting, you do notice that her tongue is swollen.
Felix says, but he has no idea what that means.
Any signs of strangulation around her throat or something choking her? or perhaps something stuck in her throat. Look down her throat.
Not that you can ascertain.
Hmm.
Other things
about-
that the rest of you are doing while he's checking out that body.
I think I would be looking to the rather tall Master Calloway. And have you ascertained what killed her?
I'm not. No, I'm not interested in that. She is in a better place now. She is closer.
Then why are you taking the brains out?
Well, the brains are useful, yet the dead have no need of it.
What do you guys do with the brains? Please tell me you don't eat them.
No, no.
Okay, good.
That one that you saw was a quite notable scholar, and his last wishes were that his brain be studied. What will
Quick
your
question.
wish be
Lady,
for your true death? What will happen to your mortal remains?
Well, I would suspect that whatever killed me probably ate me.
He's just like you feel. It's like an unnerving gaze that he gives you as he's like looking at you, like almost like he's like wondering what's floating around in your noggin.
I don't
I
think I like you much.
I get that a lot.
I just point to the body of the old guy and say, he bought my body.
Yeah.
Not sure where it went from there.
Any of you proficient in insight? You can do an insight check when you bring that up.
I am.
As soon as you bring that up, you can see his lip kind of curls a little bit, and he's just glaring at you. Yes, I know all about that.
You do? I don't know much about it other than what I just said.
I
Could you
know
tell me
about
about
you.
it?
You were dead. You were on your way, and you chose to come back. It's blasphemy.
Oh, I don't know. I'm a wizard of necromancy. It's kind of natural for me, I guess.
And yet you're not undead.
No, but
I'm okay with a necromancy. It's
it is a rather new thing for me as well, but kind of kind of interesting. I'd like to learn more about what he was up to. That might have been what got him killed.
sorry, Kevin, you had something just a moment ago.
just was asking for a clarification. Is Lady Jilova a human?
She is. I apologize if I said human. Should be elf.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Okay. I was wondering about it because of her last name, but if she was a mage, I just wasn't sure. Okay. Thank you.
And I would say, as Felix is kind of studying Lady Silverville's ears, he'll kind of saddle over and say, "You wouldn't happen to know anything about poisons that might do that? With the tongue that Orville noticed."
Ugh. Who is this? I'm sorry. Who are you saying this to?
He's checking in with Felix. So
Okay.
Does Felix have any skills that would be poison related? Is that anything you would happen to know
I'm
about?
afraid my skills don't turn quite that direction, sadly.
Pity. I never have a poisoner around when I want one. Well, so we have stab wounds, we have a throat that was slit, we have potential, at least more likely poison. Is there anything else that we think we can learn from the bodies?
What happened to their effects?
He'll nod and he'll say, we still have them.
Would we be able to look at them?
Sure. Are you done here?
I think so. There's no marks or signs or tattoos, markings, blemishes that are in common among the three, and he'll just, look over. They don't all have a triangle on the back of their left hand or something.
Make a investigation check.
But I'm not good at that. I'll use one of those rerolls that we've been gifted with.
Sounds good.
And it gets better.
Oh.
All right, 18.
Oh, nice.
There probably are some. We'll say that there's some arcane tattoos that the elf has, and maybe some clan like family type tattoos on the dwarf. Nothing that's like um strings together or seems similar and out of the ordinary, but you do notice that the dwarf, his right fist is clenched. And as you start to like pry the fingers loose, you can see that he was hanging onto a rat's tail. Looks like he ripped like a rat's tail. There's even like a little bit of fur or flesh like on the end of it.
Okay, so you meant like an actual tail of a rat. I was like,
Tail of a rat.
Hold a rat's tail off.
Yeah,
Somebody.
no, not a gnarly '90s hairdo or anything. It's like a rat, an animal tail.
Curious.
Interesting.
Are rodents common among dwarven repasts? I fancy one myself now and then, but I don't know that dwarfs do.
Not that part, probably.
And based on the size of the rat's tail, can we get a guess of the size of the rat? Like
Pretty big, but like maybe not giant. Like not like some kind of monstrosity, giant size, but pretty big. Maybe
So
like
wait, we're
8
thinking
inches.
that a rat cut his throat.
well, not at this size. I thought maybe it was a bit more rat, tail up the sleeve or something. No, I really can't see. Like they do go for the throat, but that big, and he's like trying to work out the size of tooth that was.
That's a knife cut, though.
No,
not teeth or claws, right?
I think we'd be able to distinguish between a rat teeth and a slash of a sharp object.
Well,
And we didn't see any rat detritus in Thetis's home.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So when we investigate Brom's home, look for ratways, sewer entrances. No, he was killed in his smithy.
Yes.
Smithy seems like an awfully hot place for a rat to be roaming around.
Yeah, there's usually not a lot that would attract a rat in a smithy.
Well, shall we?
Me, yes, there'd be lots of metal stuff, but it would attract me, but not a rat.
So should we go to the smithy then for a light lunch and investigation?
Yeah, that sounds like great. Yeah, I like
Let's
that.
do it.
We'll pick up a picnic basket on the way. Um,
Did you want to look at the personal effects before you leave?
yeah.
Yep.
So Master Calloway will take you to another room that is full of like armoires and chests, and he will go and find one that he'll like kind of drag out into the middle of the room and open up. And he'll say, "This is everything that was on those 3 particular individuals." And it looks like some bloodstained clothes that belong to at least the dwarf and the human, and then a robe and a purse that belong to the elf.
For Lady Jalara, Woot will want to check and see if there's any signs of like stains on the front area, like where if she had been drinking, it would have like spilled. Is there like a wine, soup, something to indicate she had been eating, drinking, and then fell?
Yes. There are definitely some just really faint, like it isn't like a dark color or anything, but you can pick up on that there is some kind of stain that seems to have dripped down the front end of it. Going through, maybe give me another investigation check as you're looking through this stuff. And like anybody can do this.
Anybody? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do one because I was going to look at the purse.
I'm kind of assuming you're all looking around.
Oof, that was bad.
Do you want to use a reroll
plenty
on
of
that?
rerolls, Felix.
Sure. I'll do a reroll.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Try again.
Much better.
Oh, there we go. Oh, so
I'll take
Felix, at the bottom of the purse, there's all sorts of stuff that in there. And even this thing, maybe you would have overlooked, but like you do a double take, maybe after knowing a few of the things, like you're all suspecting some kind of poison, and there is a cork that you find. It's not actually in the purse, but seems like it is in just in like the chest, like maybe it had been on her person or like in her clothes or something when they removed all the materials, and you find that, and it has like burned into the cork. There's like a little sigil or a symbol.
It's not. Oh, interesting. So what is the symbol? Would it be like basically like if it were a vineyard or something, it would be like the.
Yeah, it's kind of like an
maker?
ambiguous. It's like kind of an ambiguous sort of like branding kind of thing. That's sort of it sort of looks like a G, like a calligraphy G, but maybe adorned with sort of like a kind of like a vine pattern that wraps around it.
And so the size of the cork would be like a wine bottle or something smaller.
Yeah, maybe about that size.
Okay.
I guess anybody, as you're looking at this, if anybody wants to do an investigation check, you might be able to identify what it is without asking around.
Go for it.
Orville, I don't know. Maybe Orville's been seeking like a way. Felix too, for whatever reasons. You've maybe been in the market for an alchemist very recently, and so you know that this is. Oh, I've seen that symbol over the shop that belongs to an alchemist named Grelka, who's a gnome, operates out of the market ward.
That seems like something we ought to look at, guys.
Do you mind if we take this cork?
Oh, are you saying that to the Master Calloway?
Yeah.
So I'd have to take it out of my pocket if I was going to leave it.
He kind of sighs a bit, but then he says, well, she has no more need of it, so I suppose it might as well go with you.
Okay, thanks. And then I'm going to leave the room.
Shall we head to the alchemist? Or
Yeah,
the smithy?
I think we should.
All right. I think that's kind of close over here is where you're headed. And so you make your way to this alchemist's shop, this apothecary in the market ward. It's very kind of unremarkable in comparison to like everything else, you know, like without this evidence, like it's not something that would stand out to you. There are some like arcane kind of symbols that seem like they are hovering about over the door stop. But the shop itself looks dark. And as you go to try for the door, it's locked. And it's like mid-afternoon. Like there's no reason. There's no
Normally it
reason
would be
for her to
open.
not be open. Yeah.
Gotcha. Is the sort of place where the proprietor would live upstairs, or?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Hmm.
there's like a couple of windows in the front that you can kind of peek in, and it's dark in there, like no lantern light or anything. Nobody that you see in there.
Well,
Is
do we
there anybody on the street?
bang on the door?
Hey, Felix, are you good at picking locks?
I'm pretty good at relieving people of their things. I'm not so sure I'm good at locks, but
Oh,
I could give it
I,
a go.
I will look the other way, and you can maybe take care of
Woot sort
that.
of turns around and acts
I like
casual
to-
as his wings spread, make
I
a
like
wall.
to, I
Yeah.
like to pay.
I mean, I can try, but
So to Percy's
I
question,
I follow all laws myself.
So to Percy's question,
Yeah.
yes, there are people around. Like her shop isn't maybe on the busiest street, but like it's not. This is a commercial district, so there's definitely like people mucking about. So this is going to take a combination of maybe distraction or deception and lock picking to pull off.
Yeah, the rest
I'm
of
not
us can
sure.
just kind of stand in front of,
I don't
block.
think I have that skill, guys. So
Oh.
could take a while.
I can do it.
Okay, so Perhorn is going to be doing the thieves' tools check, and is Woot doing some
Proselytizing. So Woot gets out little sign-up cards and he puts his
Okay.
little sash on. He uses thaumaturgy to make his voice boom real big, and he's like, "Would you like to be a god? Ask me how. Escape the cage. It's travel where you want to. Never return to Sigil again. In
So
5 easy steps."
So you can use whatever you want, whether it's religion, persuasion, performance, whatever you want to do the other pieces of this.
I'm bad at all of those, but we're gonna go with religion.
Okay.
Better than average. We'll
Yep.
take it.
Yep, the combination of those two things works out for you. You pass out a bit of literature. You've got some interest going, and it's enough that it's like a college campus. You got the counter protest. There's a couple of people that just want to be like, "Hey, have you thought about that, man?" And it's enough that Perhorn has enough time to have his way with the lock and get you all access. And so, um. as you make your way in there, definitely like a blend of fragrances kind of emanating around the room from the various medicines and whatnot that Grelka sells here. Um, Shelves upon shelves of vials, flasks, jars, etc., with colorful liquids and fungi and weird things, just like you might have saw at Thetis's place. And I guess maybe as you're coming in, anybody can make a perception check. Oh, Perhorn for sure. 17. Okay. So Perhorn, you kind of notice or you hear from upstairs like some kind of thumping. There's some kind of sound coming from the second story.
I'm going to go very quietly upstairs.
So Felix is going to stealthily move up the stairs. Anything the rest of you are doing is...
I'm going to go up behind him. I'll follow. I don't want to. I'll try to be quiet as well.
Okay, give me a stealth check. So anybody that's heading up the stairs, it sounds like, give me a stealth check. So we got an 18 from Felix, that's pretty good. Orville, 17, that's pretty good.
Woot will wait at the downstairs by the door.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna look around for a healing potion.
Sure, give me investigation check.
We're a very honest bunch.
Oh, 10.
You don't see exactly what you're...
I'm gonna use a reroll.
Reroll, okay.
Aw, there we go. For the kids.
Okay, 17, you find a... let's say you find a greater healing potion.
Ooh.
I will hand it over to my owlin friend. You might need this more than me.
Woot. He's like about to put it in his pocket, and he thinks about that for a second. Wait, isn't this stealing?
No, I gave it to you.
I stole it. You're just receiving a gift.
Yeah.
So, Orville and Felix, you make your way up the stairs there, and
Sword drawn, by the way.
you can hear it on the other side of this door. Like you get the feeling like as you creep up these stairs, like it hits like a first landing and then switches back and goes up. Like this is like a stairway that's leading into like kind of the apartment upstairs, and you can hear that there's like some kind of rummaging around happening inside.
All right. Well, I kind of look back over my shoulder at Orville and draw my sword and kind of raise my eyebrows. Are you ready?
Orville just has his quarterstaff. He doesn't have it. I don't think he has a sword.
Okay. Well, I'll try the door. If I can open it quietly, I will.
It is open.
Okay.
Along with your stealth
Okay.
check from earlier, you kind of creak it open a little bit. Doesn't make a sound. You're just peeking in, and you can see that there's a gnome that has like a suitcase out on a bed and is just hurriedly like throwing stuff in there and like going through her closet, kind of just just like inspecting items. Looks like trying to ascertain, is this important to take with me? I only have so much room in my bags, kind of thing.
Where are you headed, Grelka?
And she just like jumps up and she says, and you can see she like grabs like a dagger and says, "Who's there?"
An interested party. Where are you headed?
I'm closed. I'm vacation.
I have a question about this cork. And I produce the cork.
And she kind of like looks at it and she says, "Yep, that's definitely a cork."
I think pretty sure it's one of yours.
Sure, yeah, yep. That's
Kind of wondering how Lady Jalora ended up with it.
oh, well, looks like she must be a customer of mine.
Mm-hmm.
She had a little reaction from it.
Yeah. Does that happen to all your customers, I wonder?
Yes, I mean I get reactions all the time of I'm very
you don't
highly
get
rated.
a return customer from her reaction, though.
Look, I don't know what you're implying, but I treat my customers. Their privacy is my utmost concern. I cannot talk about what we may have provided her, but I assure you that whatever I had nothing to do with that.
Her privacy is of no consequence anymore. It doesn't matter about her privacy because she won't be objecting to whatever you say about her.
Orville, make a persuasion check.
I'm not good at that.
Would you like to use a reroll?
Okay, but I don't know if it'll.
For the kids.
We want to see either great success or great failure. None of this middle ground.
Lyra says, HIPAA violation much? Yeah, I'm bound by honor and code. So it's 17. And she says, you can see like she kind of like lets her guard down. She says, okay. I was selling her potions of longevity. Is that what this is about?
It didn't work.
It had the opposite effect. She's dead.
Oh, really?
I think you knew that.
Make an insight check. So 22. Felix, Orville too. Both of you just get the sense of you could see her eyes kind of like there is maybe like there's like a look of sadness, like a pained expression that crosses over her face. And she just says, I didn't think suicide.
There was no note.
What makes you think it's suicide?
She came in here, what was it? Maybe 5 days ago, asking about Nightshade's kiss. It's a poison.
Yeah, but you were making her stuff for to make her live longer. That doesn't sound like somebody who wants to.
She didn't say what it was for.
Did she seem like she was herself?
Uh, she did seem a little out of sorts, but I certainly didn't think that she was going to do that. I mean,
So
our relationship, she's been buying these potions for me for years.
I think you should come downstairs and we should all have a conversation.
Okay. Who do you represent?
We're out here on the behalf of the Harmonium to understand who killed
Oh,
several
please.
people,
She gets down on
including
her knees.
the
Like,
late.
please don't tell them that I deal in this stuff. Look,
Then just be straight with us.
okay. Look, okay. I'll go with you. So, yes.
So we'll just head downstairs so we can all be part of the conversation.
So she follows. She follows and is very compliant at this point. Now that you've invoked the harmonium,
And
it
so,
seems like
yeah,
she's
so
very concerned about that, and she can tell like you know a lot more than she thought. So she comes downstairs with you. She's hello.
so
She,
I introduced Grelka to the others, kind of
hello.
fill them in.
I'm going to be honest. I thought she was going to be dead.
What do you know about that? I mean, I assume I'm next, right?
Well, okay, sure.
As long as you give us all the information, there would be no reason to shut you up because you couldn't be shut up because you already gave it to us. So
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb. You're not here to kill me, so that's good. It sounds like you're investigating the others that have died. They were all
yeah,
customers of mine.
Hmm.
I've been selling them
we're
potions of longevity. It's a very complicated process.
Interesting.
When I heard about, you know, the first couple of deaths, I started to wonder. I started to get worried. I knew all of them personally. And then
Are there
just,
any other customers?
um, yes, well,
for
there's a,
this particular potion.
Yeah.
you can see that she's this is, she's kind of going back and forth in her head. She's all right. Judge Moreland. Judge Moreland snarls. He's a member of the Fraternity of Order.
That's it.
Is he a high up in a certain faction?
Yes, he's a high member of the Fraternity of Order.
Just out of curiosity, what's their relationship to the Harmonium?
They're pretty aligned. Like the Harmonium and the Fraternity of Order, and there's like a third one. They all kind of all exist in the Ladies' Ward and kind of operate the
Was that the Mercy
city, sort
Killers?
of. It's not the Mercy Killers. I can look it up real quick.
No. That's fine. That's fine. Okay.
So those with enough power and money to afford and influence do not be found have been taking advantage of these potions of longevity. Their position was more coincidental, perhaps. Were all four of them acting out of sorts when you saw them last? Fadus seemed to have been having some sort of breakdown.
I saw him yesterday. He was trying to warn me.
Of?
Well, he mentioned that he was hearing things in his walls. He was talking all sorts of crazy. And he said that he thought that he was next. That he was going to reach out and hire a mercy killer to watch his back. He was suggesting that I do the same.
He was going to hire a mercy killer.
That's what he said. Appears from the news it didn't work.
Just out of curiosity, do you take this potion yourself too?
I do not.
Do you have a sample of it?
Yes.
So has anyone ever cut their throat with a rat's tail?
What?
She's just like, I don't know. I don't think so. But she'll go and she'll get a potion of longevity and give it to you. She says it's my last one.
And when's the last time you saw the judge?
Hard to say. It's probably about a month or so ago.
And so would he be due to come again soon, or?
That's a good question. She'd probably say that she wouldn't expect to see him. That the only reason she saw Thetis is that he came to warn her that he thought that there was some connection.
Would all four of them have received potions from the latest batch? Are they brewed together? Could there have been a contaminant?
It's possible. I haven't done anything different.
No, more something incidental than intentional. Intentional would be murder.
Well, you have some available. You could always test it, I suppose.
I do not personally have the skill or magic to test for poison. Do any of you?
Seems like Grelka ought to be able to do it. If she made it. So just trying to think this through. So the Githyanki that we saw leaving was probably the bodyguard?
If the story is true, he was likely the mercenary he was attempting to hire. If Thetis had had a breakdown and been smashing about the place, perhaps he would have had to defend himself and killed Thetis. I would think if he had tried to hire the mercy killer, we could check with their guild to see if there was a request.
Indeed. And possibly track him down. So the question would be, should we do that or try to track down the judge
I think
and
the
see what's going on over
judge,
there?
if his life could be saved, or if he is descending into madness, it would be proof of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should go talk to the judge and see his state of mind.
How high of a stand? The word judge makes me nervous, especially when we've been pilfering. How high of a standing would this individual
Investigating. We've been investigating.
You'd be able to get from Grelka that he's like pretty high rank in the Fraternity of Order, so very important person.
If his life is in danger,
I feel like the
we have
potion
to.
is just payment for not turning her into the harmonium for the nightshade.
Well, I've been in Sigil a few years now, and I've learned it's best not to walk up to a judge and tell them you might think they're crazy.
Well, I think we can be a little bit more explain it in a way that won't make him want to.
Do you think so? The last one was attacking the walls with a hammer.
Well,
Judges have gavels. They're equipped with hammers.
well, I am since I became a robot. I'm really not very persuasive with people. So I think that would be left to one of you.
Well,
I would probably make him mad, angry, even in the best of circumstances.
I suppose the worst that can happen is we get there too late and he's dead. Anything other than that would be good. So should we set out right
Well,
away?
he might want to. Minimally, he just might want to know that he may be in danger.
Grelka, if he was under the influence of a side effect of the potion that was causing him to be out of sorts, is there anything in the shop that might assist him?
If you don't want to, confront him directly, we could report back our findings that we found a possibly link between the victims, and that we have another possible victim, and let them deal with it instead of us.
I did get the impression from Captain Core that we should not invoke the harmonium as much as possible, lest the factions think they were taking sides.
But
This is over our head, of course, but
they said that they were friends, right? You said that these two groups were friends, so maybe internally they could deal with it.
based on Grelka's reaction, I think the
I'm-
potions of longevity must be quite the offense.
I'm
the
struggling because I
nightshade
heard like
goes-
three
yes,
different
that was
questions. So what question are
Sure.
you?
Let's start with first one. Is the potion of longevity a really bad offense to the harmonium? Grelka made it sound like it was
She would
It
say
was the Nightshade's kiss.
the
she's
Nightshade's kiss. Sorry.
she's worried about the poison.
Yeah.
The poison.
She would
Okay.
say
Yeah.
that the potion of longevity is definitely something that all of those clients wanted to keep mum. They didn't want it public that they were using it, but there's nothing. She's not worried about reprisal from the harmonium over that. It's the poison. I think there.
And then
So I would
and
just
then
ask
option
Grelka,
two.
where is she going to go? Go ahead.
She would say she's like, I was thinking, maybe somewhere in the Outlands. I heard Fortitude's nice, and lots of law and security there. Maybe. I didn't really have a good plan. I just anywhere really out of here.
Well, I would like to be able to find her again. So does anyone have a suggestion?
Well, I did ask Grelka, is there anything in the shop that might
Yes.
help to calm the judge? If he's not too good.
I think she doesn't really know because like she doesn't know what the effect is. Like she'll tell you that she can give you like a neutralized poison kind of thing, but she's like, you said that it might be tainted or something, but I don't really know about this mind influence part of it. It seems more in the spell casting magical realm.
Well, we could take that to the judge. If he seems sane, explain that other clients have had a reaction, offer that to him, and encourage him to check his own defenses. I assume he will have access to such things.
Yeah, she would tell you that she suspects he has like, his own personal bodyguard and such, that like he lives in a manor, like a proper mansion or whatever.
So I would think discretion first. If we encounter trouble reaching him, then we try the harmonium. I do want my 50 gold.
Indeed.
All right. So you're going to try to find, what did I call him? Judge Moreland Snarls?
Before we go, I do have one last question for Grelka.
Sure.
Which is does she just want to show her the recipe that we got from the journal and see if she recognizes it.
Oh, she'll be like, oh, he was pretty close.
Close to the longevity?
She says, yeah, she'll say like this, a little too much of this ingredient, and like, was he watching me? You can see there's like offense, like, oh, he was gonna try to make it out himself and cut me out of the whole process, and but also is a little bit, like, good on him, like he was pretty close, he almost got it.
Okay. So he was trying to reverse engineer the longevity.
He's quite good in that field, so.
So, to the judge, and then if not the judge, the harmonium, or perhaps the forge, or Lady Silver Vale's house.
Yep.
So I think by the
Sounds
time
good.
you get to the judge, like you find out where the judge is, it'd probably be like starting to be like early evening, maybe like 5 p.m. ish. Judge Moreland would live like closer to the ladies' ward, and just a extravagant mansion that kind of has an east and a west wing, 3 stories tall. There's a lot of red tape to get past his guards, and then eventually get to the house and get to his servants and whatnot to get into where he lives. But let's say you're gonna try to sweet talk your way in to try to get an appointment with him, or is there a different tact that you would be using?
Well, what do you think, guys? I would think mentioning Grelka's name and something to do with her might get us in.
I will leave that up to you. Ever since I got into this mechanical body, I have very little persuasion or empathy toward people. I just can't talk very well with them.
So I think basically the way this would work is you'd maybe invoke Grelka's name, and then it would be like a game of telephone to the judge, who would then maybe get concerned. So I would say one of you wants to do an intimidation check.
I'd rather do persuasion.
Okay, you give me a persuasion.
Intimidation, but
Woot
right.
will try to assist by like walking up behind you before you go and like taking a hold of his wings, kind of giving you a quick feather dusting off and like smarten you up a little bit, and then off you go.
Nice.
You can have advantage on that roll.
Okay, I'll roll another one then, because yikes.
Okay, so an 18.
18.
After some time, it's probably about 6 p.m. by the time you actually get in past the gates and everything, because of how long the delay is in getting the message to Judge Moreland. But eventually you were brought up to the house and escorted into not your first well-appointed office today. And so you were brought in there. There's nobody in there initially when you get in there, but there's like a little wine cart or kind of alcohol cart where there's like very, very nice, ritzy, top shelf like whiskeys and whatever, little glassware. There's big library on one side, like this big oversized office that you're just seeing. Like everything about this office is about communicating the prestige and importance of this man. And eventually, this wiry old gentleman with these kind of crescent shaped glasses, and he's hunched over a bit, and he's still wearing like his judge's outfit, like he had just gotten back from work or whatever. Very stately. He very slowly meanders to the other side of this desk and doesn't exactly say hello or anything until he sits down. And you can see he's like very meticulously like putting his pens and everything where they need to be, and he eventually gets around to saying, okay then. You must be friends of Grelka. Are you deliverymen or so? And he just like he's just like drolls on and on and on until eventually he gives a pause in his droning to give you a chance to explain yourselves.
Your Honor, we have reason to believe, after our recent conversation with Groka, that the deaths of 3 of the prominent members of Sigil were related or connected to her in some way. And we thought that you ought to know.
And you have substantial, without a question of a doubt, evidence that all of these killings are connected in some way, shape, or manner.
Yes.
Hmm.
Through Groka. They were all customers of her potion of longevity.
Well, that's very high. That is something that you should likely file some paperwork on with the clerks at the halls of justice, and we definitely take a look into that. And
Wait. You're not taking these, are you?
well, excuse me.
Orville was going to say that under his breath, but he wasn't going to say it out loud.
If you've been taking longevity potions, you'd be way younger. Unless you're like 900 years old.
Speechless right now.
But why would she say that you were?
Grelka told these. This is this is a big accusation that you were bringing before. I am a young man.
No. I'm not saying that you are. I'm saying that you aren't.
I've got a lot of years left in me.
Sir, you seem a bit out of sorts, if I may.
No, this is how I always am.
I see.
You can all make insight checks. Oh yeah, he's like sweating. He's like sweating as he's trying to piece together some kind of a rebuttal.
You don't think he was trying to get rid of his enemies?
Perhaps we didn't come across entirely correctly. We wanted to make sure you were aware of the potential connection so that if you were one affected, you could take appropriate means. Grelka had provided this potion to neutralize any ill effects if it was a poison, but if it was unrelated to a potion and simply linked as esteemed heads of associations, that you may wish to consult with your guards about an improved defense for your mind, as the others seem to have suffered breakdowns.
And you're suggesting that this is all a result of taking some kind of medicine or chemical that Grelka has provided to her clients out there on the street, and that anybody that takes this should take this antidote.
It could be that antidote, or it could be that someone's targeting those who have had that potion. We thought that we should warn you as soon as possible. And he's like looking to the yes, yeah, is this like he kind of turns his head like way uncomfortably too far to look to each of you to like.
So maybe what you're suggesting is that I should not be in conversations or in meetings with people that I don't know all that well.
When we leave? Yes.
I will take that under advisement.
And he's like scratching his head. He's like,
those things that you said, this antidote that you have, I'd like to keep that for evidentiary reasons.
We're gonna have to keep that for our evidence.
oh, no. The antidote that Grelka gave us to give to him, he can have that.
Allegedly. No.
Yes.
Yeah, are you sure? We should.
This should stay here. You can have your guards look at it if you choose, but yes.
Oh, thank you. Are we
like,
are we done?
to look at,
He's like staring at it, like kind of tapping his pen.
yes.
Okay. Well, are you looking for like a reward or tip or?
No, nothing,
For
nothing
what?
needed.
For I don't know. Nothing.
Share.
He's
Well,
just
we wish needed that.
slowly reaching for the antidote, pulling it closer.
I feel like I'm watching Flash from Zootopia.
We don't want anything for that.
Okay.
No,
You
I was
got a
asking
spare-
them.
Oh,
No.
Oh, do you have a spare pen? That would be nice.
you can have this one if you like.
It's metal, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's like gold-plated pen.
Cool. That's really nice. I'd like one of those.
He like hands it to you.
Felix is just scratching his head. He's
We have other areas to investigate, I guess.
Yes, please continue with your investigation, and if the fraternity of order can be of any assistance to you in the future,
Well, just see to your health.
thank you. And as you guys all leave.
Like Woot's like looking between the others, like, was there anything else we were? I'm not sure.
The wheels of justice turn slowly, I guess.
I feel like we almost accidentally blackmailed a judge.
Yeah, the snail judge that has to take the potions of longevity just to stave off that last year.
Oof. So should we head to the Mercy Killers to see about the henchman or the mercenary?
Well-
What just happened in there?
That's a
I'm
puzzle.
so confused.
I'm starting to wonder, did Grelka just try to get rid of us? Was she the culprit all along?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I would say if we go back to her shop and she's still there, probably not. If she's gone, she might be a suspect.
She said, yeah.
I think she was going to leave either way.
Yeah.
Um, well, we could check with the
see if we can track down the
smithy,
Githyanki.
the smithy, the lady's house, and the Githyanki. But if there are signs of mental distress at both of those locations, that would tend to exonerate the Githyanki and support his self-defense, if assuming he will say self-defense.
Mainly, I was hoping just to find out if what he saw when he fled. But
which
I think just to just given the time, I'm gonna say you can get to like one more place before nightfall, like before you'd probably be exhausted and have to turn in for the night.
Yeah.
So, Githyanki?
I feel like he's our best witness.
Seems fair.
At this point.
Okay.
All right.
He's either going to try and kill us because he actually did it, or which we should try to avoid. But
He may be the last live witness that we could contact.
All right. So it sounds like you're in agreement that you're going to seek out the Mercy Killer. So you're not far from the prison, which is the kind of the headquarters of the Mercy Killers. This dark, foreboding structure, this fortress of iron and stone, that isn't too far from the courts and the barracks, which speaks to the similar alignment of the Mercy Killers to those other groups, but is they've got their own view on how justice and the law should work. And just due to like the time of our session and everything, I want to kind of speed this along, that you'll talk to some of the Mercy Killers, you'll bring up there's going to be some resistance, but you're going to push through that resistance, and eventually you'll speak to somebody who will say, okay, yes, we were contacted by Thetis, and we had a member named Sirius, who is a Gazeri, who had gone out to assist in some giving him protection, but he's not well. He's returned to us, and he has locked himself in one of the, they'll call it an interrogation chamber, but it's a torture chamber that they have for people that they have in holding. And so you'll get directed to this chamber and you'll find him. And the other Mercy Killers that kind of assist you with this, they're going to leave you to it. They'll leave you alone with him. So you find yourself in a very secluded, kind of dark room. There's not much in this chamber except for a pretty nondescript wooden table and a couple of wooden chairs. And in the corner of the room, there is a Gazeri who is just seated. He's like hugging his knees to his chest and kind of muttering to himself.
I thought these people would be made of sturdier stuff than to let something like this bother his mind that much.
Well, we don't know what's troubling him yet. What is troubling you? Kind of open-ended out to Cirrus.
I killed him. I was supposed to protect him, and I killed him.
True.
Why?
I don't remember. I remember going there. I met with him. We talked. He said he felt he was being watched. Next thing I knew, I blacked out. The knife was in my hand. His body on the ground. I was supposed to help him. I was supposed to help him deal with whoever was performing these killings. He was convinced he was next on the list.
Did you ingest anything while you were there?
I don't think so. I don't recall that. Just there's scratching in my mind. I could hear the squeaking, the chittering.
Like rats?
Sound like a rat?
Yes. How did you know that?
It was connected with one of the other ones that died.
Do you still hear it?
Not right now, no.
Do you remember anything else that happened? You say you blacked out. Was there anything that happened just before?
I mean, he was very agitated, Thetis was. He said he could feel that they were moving in the walls.
Yes. Do you remember how the walls got holes in them?
It was like that when I got there.
Okay, so it wasn't you, it was him that punched holes in the wall?
Rats.
Yes, I think so.
Did you see any rats? Or did you just hear them?
It felt like they were in my mind. Crawling around, and suddenly you see him kind of jolt up.
What was that?
He jolts up, and you see him reach for a weapon.
Punch him in the arm. Dead arm.
Give me a quick athletics check.
All of us?
15. Bam. You hit him. He falls backwards. He drops the... It looks like he's pulling out a dagger. He drops the dagger, and he just falls backwards. But you can see like his eyes are kind of rolling up into the back of his head.
One of us grabs the dagger to make sure he can't harm anyone, including himself.
You could do that, yeah. You grab the weapon.
And Wood'll try and put him in a little bit of a joint lock so that if he tries to get up again, he can't easily. We should call one of the guards.
Can anyone detect magic?
Maybe they can have straitjacket for him?
No detect magic here.
Not me either.
So Woot is putting a restraint on Sirius. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to assist.
Okay, so the two of
I'm
you kind of
trying
tag
to-
team restrain him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what faction. Is there any factions that the rats would be connected to
No,
to be used as a weapon of any sort?
no, that wouldn't be a faction thing that you're aware of.
Okay, I didn't know if there was somebody that
Anything,
worshipped the rat god or something. But
not factions within Sigil. No. Anything that Penhorn is doing.
Can I check his legs to see if he's got any bites?
You could do that. Give me a quick medicine check.
Reroll.
Yep.
All right, give it a shot.
Much better
Yeah.
for the kids.
No,
For the kids.
no bites that you can see. But clearly, his breathing has become more shallow, and his like heart rate seems to be elevated.
Hmm. Do we still have that healing potion?
Whoop. Like as you ask, Woot will hold it out to you.
Oh, I don't know if it's a good idea, but maybe you could just get it down his throat. That might.
Probably at this point, you've been doing some checks. You've got him restrained, and you've got him like under control. He's fighting you. Like it seems like he's trying to get to a weapon. But you start to hear commotion out in the halls. Like some of the guards are like, "What the, what is that?" And you just hear there's some kind of activity happening out in the halls outside of this interrogation room.
I'm
Okay.
going to take a peek outside and see what's going on.
I'm going to try to knock him out.
Okay, I think at this point, like you've got him restrained, like no problem, you can knock him out.
Okay.
Cold,
And then
cold
just
clock him.
get my sword out and.
So Orville, you take a peek out into the hall, and you can see that there are some other like mercy killers that are in the hall, and their gaze is all looking down one of the corridors, like they're watching something that just went past them, and you can see one like they're all looking at each other like, was that just a shit ton of rats? Rats?
You've never seen them here before?
And then they look at you and they look. It was a ton of cranium rats that just ran through here.
Cranium rats? What's a cranium rat?
A lot of times they're used as messengers. They're all like psychically linked.
Oh, psychically linked, huh?
And who controls them?
That could explain that.
I don't know.
What sort of messenger service do they come from? Is there a central messenger service that uses them?
There are some networks that say that they've got a network of them that can communicate through Sigil. It's not just one central kind of thing, but I've never seen that many together before.
Yeah, you would think there'd just be one if they were sending.
No, there's just a ton of them. They went right down this hall.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing
But
that.
I mean, normally they would just use one.
I'm giving chase.
Yeah,
Okay.
like while that conversation's happening, millions of years of evolution are impelling the owlin forward. Like he looks hungry as he's like stalking down that way.
And you will follow them, and it would seem like you. Everybody is seeing the same thing. Everyone's having a reaction. It's not hard to piece together like where they went. And the corridor eventually that you give chase, and it leads to like a area where the showers are, and there's like a drain that everyone's like they went in there, and like you can just see like the evidence that like they probably scurried down this big large like kind of sewer vent.
I hate to ask, but can I fit?
Like if you know use a crowbar or whatever to like pop this vent off, like you could squeeze in there.
Hmm. Does anyone have a light source?
Yeah, I do. I got a crowbar too.
Nice.
I have some torches.
Yeah, I have a torch and a.
Just before we dive down this one particular chute, Woot will take a quick look around. Is there any more obvious, better entrance to like the sewers? Like this seems like going down the shower drain as compared to walking around to where the pipes go.
There, if it's like to get to the sewers specifically, like outside on the street level, would probably be like an easier way down there.
Like in Sigil's world, does that sort of make sense? Like these pipes go there, or
Yeah.
would they go crazy underneath? Okay. So we'll be like, we could go outside. We could just dip down. There's a ladder.
Sure, we could do that.
So rather than busting up the bathroom, why don't we go out there?
Yeah.
So
I was not eager to go down anyway.
I think this is doable. You won't have like the direct trail, so I think you'll have to do like a survival check to see if you can pick up. It's basically a timeliness thing. Eventually, you will, but you know, there could be potentially another murder tonight, and
not me. I'm not. I should not do that because
Orville's got it.
Orville's got it with the 18, and so you make your way out onto the Sigil streets, and you find a more comfortable, easier access into the sewers, and you eventually drop down there and get into the labyrinthian tunnels of Under Sigil, which is a dark and eerie subterranean layer beneath the bustling city streets. There's a lot of strange activity that happens down here, and a lot of like emergent factions that are starting to, sometimes they make their starts underneath the streets of Sigil to develop their followings and things like that. So there's like weird little like communities and whatnot that like pop up down here. And so you're probably going to buzz past some remnants of all that, but eventually you will make your way past some kind of shanty town through some twisted pathways that lead you further into shadow into a kind of a dead end where there is a trench where sewage is collected. There's, you know, little walkways that kind of bridge that gap and everything like that. Pipes that dump sewage and everything down here. But, you know, you're probably following the physical signs, but also asking some of the people that you're seeing, like, have they just seen like a crazy amount of rats come through here? And so eventually you're directed to this kind of dead end that's illuminated a bit by maybe toxic sewage that is dumped and collected in this kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, cul-de-sac of this area. It's kind of pooling here. And across the way, you can see that there is sort of kind of a ramshackle looking structure, like a almost like a like a 10-foot by 10-foot kind of little shack or whatever. and you can hear kind of scurrying about in there as you're approaching. And
Orville says, "I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell."
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good, not good. Um, I am going to pop an image up here. I'm hoping, because you will see something emerge from that building as you get a bit closer. But in this kind of gray, dark robe, shambling out from the structure, you just see this. It looks like almost like the robe that duster was wearing earlier, except within the hood, you just see maybe a dozen or so little lit up eyes, and like the arms of this robe are just crawling with rat tails and such. And a couple of them down at the feet of these long flowing robes. And each of these rats that you see has their cranium exposed, like little brains, almost as if their scalps had been cut off around their head, exposing that fleshy brain part. And we're going to do this combat theater of the mind, because I don't really have a great thing out here for you. But give me just a second. I'm going to add you to a combat tracker, and then I will let you know when I'm ready for you to roll initiative. Let's see. I've got Orville.
Okay, I know you halflings like potatoes, and they grow in the ground, and you think they're delicious. So I want you to let you know it's not weird that I think that looks delicious.
Well, it might be more delicious if we cooked it. But I don't have any oil.
And while Owlin may have a sense of smell, in the real world, apparently owls cannot smell. A thing I just learned.
Interesting.
Okay. I think you're good to go. You could roll initiative.
Let's see. Initiative. 20.
Is that worth a DM reroll? I think it might be. I'm going to use one of my DM rerolls here. Oh, it's not any better. Okay, that's how it rolls. So we're going to start things out with Felix. So you just see this horrifying thing in the duster's robe emerge.
I'm torn because like it just looks like a pile of rats inside of clothing. Um, let's see. Does rope burn?
It could.
I feel like attacking it normally would be crazy. I'm just gonna light my rope on fire and throw it at it. Like, if that's a thing I could do. Wishing for a fireball, honestly.
Do you happen to be carrying any flasks of oil?
That's what, yeah.
No, I was hoping, but no, I'm not. That's why I'm grasping at
I don't think Like if you had flint and steel, I don't know if the rope would like immediately ignite without like that.
Oh, well, I was just assuming since we were underground, we had our torches, but okay.
Oh,
Then
you
I'll
got
just
or you got a torch. I don't know. I don't know if the rope would like light up like that
yeah,
though.
that's what I'm asking. I'll
Yeah.
just use my bow then.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, now I equipped. I don't know how to do this.
So, are you in? Are you using D&D Beyond, or are you rolling in? You've been rolling in.
In the in the foundry.
Okay. So I think it's on your inventory page. You can get the attacks up.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm equipped. Okay, longbow, martial ranged.
And then it's a weird thing. You have to like hover not on the word, but like to the left of the word, the
Oh, I
little
see.
D20.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
And
There we
then
go.
and then it pops it up into the chat there, and then
Yep.
you can click the attack, and it'll roll the.
Attack, normal, boom. Oof, so close. I don't think that hit.
And for those counting, you guys have one reroll in case.
I think I'll save it.
Sounds
I
good.
should save.
And anything else on your turn? You're
I am
level
not
1. I
close.
don't know if you have any like potential bonus action things. Sometimes they're pretty limited at that level, but
I think I have passive abilities. Half in nimbleness. Lucky.
the bonus action hide thing you get at level 2, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything.
Sounds good. We'll move on to Woot's turn.
Might be crazy, but he's doing it anyway. Woot just like absolutely dives in, like he's gonna slam down with his foot, try and flip a route up in the air, and if he can get one, he's gonna try and take a bite out of it. So foot attack first is gonna come in with a 17 to hit.
That'll hit.
Doing a D plus 3, 7 points of damage. And then being a monk, bonus action, unarmed attack. An 11 to hit. We'll let it stand at that.
That one will miss.
Yep. The rat goes up in the air, but he misses on the bite.
Jump.
That's it.
All right. Perhorn, it is your turn.
I am going to pull up my trusty crossbow and fire a heat bolt at it.
Uh,
15?
15
I
hits.
rolled twice.
Yeah, 15 hits.
7 damage.
7 damage. So you can see this is like a. Is it just a firebolt or is it something different?
It's just a firebolt, yeah.
Okay. So the firebolt hits it. You can see there's like a little bit of a blast, like you hit like right into the chest. You can see a couple of the rats kind of scurry out, not wanting to be near that inferno.
And if I can, I will move back 25 feet. I don't want to be anywhere near these things.
Sounds good.
Oh, and I will cast Sanctuary on Woot.
Woot.
Since he seems to be the only one that's in combat with them.
Sounds good. The rat squeaker swarm is gonna cast a spell, and this is gonna affect everyone except for Perhorn. I need you 3. Woot, Felix, and Orville to make wisdom saving throws. You want a 13 or higher.
Okay. used.
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody makes it. The confusion spell doesn't land. And the swarm of rats is going to the rats in the trench coat are gonna duck into that little shack there, and they're gonna try to take a little bit of cover. So they're gonna +2 to their AC while they're hunkered down in there, unless you get up into melee with them. And with that, Orville, it is your turn.
I can see him yet to
You
make
could-
an attack.
You can still see him. He's just got a little bit of cover, but for the purposes of things that you need to see him for, yeah, you could still see him.
All right. I'm throwing chromatic orb at him.
Okay. And what type of damage are you choosing?
Well, it probably doesn't matter.
Well, maybe you want to use a that's probably reroll worthy, I would say.
Okay, I will reroll. I'm going to use lightning.
All right, and a 17, even with the cover, is going to hit.
All right.
Ooh, and that's a meaty 15 points of lightning damage. As the orb strikes at like his shoulder, you could just see like rats just dropping out of the sleeve. Just there's kind of a pile that is lined up there. Anything else, Orville?
I don't think I can do a bonus action. Nope.
All right, that'll bring us back to the top, and it is Felix's turn.
Okay. So now you said that it retreated to the shack.
Yeah, it, like just withdrew into the shack. There's no door or anything. Like it's just like using that as like it's like still like kind of gazing out at you guys, but it just gets a little bonus to its AC.
Okay. Well, I mean, and this shack is made of wood.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I am going to try to set the shack on fire.
Okay.
I'm just going to sneak outside and try to do that for my turn.
How close would you say you're getting to it? Like, is it like a throwing the
thing
torch?
Itself,
or...
I mean, I definitely am going to try to like skirt around to the side until I'm out of view, and then come back to the shack. Like, I'm not going to go directly towards it.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a sense. Are you throwing the torch, or are you like moving up and like?
No, I want to. I
it?
would like to basically get out of view and then sneak up behind the shack and set it on fire.
Okay, so you're getting like within 5 feet of the shack and like touching the torch to the wood and everything. Okay.
Yeah. So is that like a stealth thing to see if I can actually sneak?
I think like you could get over there. I'm just trying to think of we'll just say a melee attack roll, and I'm gonna use that as the determinant.
All right, so that would be inventory, unarmed strike.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. Attack. Normal. Ugh. Wow. We already used a reroll, so somehow I missed.
It's just it's not that it won't work, it's just like in the 6 seconds you don't quite get like a good enough flame going.
Okay.
And that'll bring us to Woot.
Woot's just diving into the shack. Like he's
chompy
all
chompy
about the food. Chompy chompy. So we're gonna go with the first unarmed strike. That'll be a 23, and that'll do some damage. Ooh, 6 points there. And I'll follow up with the chompy chompy. Come on, roll the chompy chompy. Uh, 12?
You're in melee with it, so that'll hit.
Yay. and we'll do an extra 4 there.
Awesome.
And just rats are flying, beaks snapping. Like he's got a line of tails hanging out the side of his mouth at this point.
All right. So you are definitely like starting to peel away more of the rat swarm. It still feels like there's a lot of room. There's a lot of occupants in that robe. So next up is Per Horn.
I will try and get a clear shot at it. I realize that this will probably be a little harder than normal, and I'll just throw another bolt at it. A fire.
Ooh, that'll miss.
That's okay. It was only 2 damage. It's fine. And that's it.
All right. Okay. I will roll. I don't really. Do I have this coded in here? Okay, maybe I do.
That's a bad sign.
It's bad. He's not quite at 50% health, which is why it's bad. So he's gonna attack Hoot.
Yay!
This is gonna force me to use my other one, isn't it? I have to use the last DM reroll.
Just don't turn into a green number.
Oops. Went the wrong direction on that. There we go. All right. There we go.
19 hits.
19 hits. You're a level 1 character, aren't you?
Uh-huh, with 11 hit points. Here we go. Apotheosis, here I come. Come on, hit the button.
This is how you become
10. That's awesome. Okay.
I was wondering if you were going to turn into a Modrum, you know, the little metal owl from that.
From Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
So that's his turn. 10 points of damage. Next up is going to be Orville.
Okay. I'm going to do the chromatic orb again. I don't have a reroll, so I better get it right the first time.
That one will hit.
Cool. Let's see. Not as good.
Tux asks, but do people really die in Sigil? That is a good question. Sometimes. All right, so 5 points of damage on that. So
Yeah, that was pretty low.
Suddenly the damage rolls have become nerfed, but that's okay. Anything else from Orville?
No.
So Felix, it is your turn.
So I will continue to try to light the shack on fire. That's my.
Sounds good. You can make another roll. Just looking for a 10.
Okay. Attack. Come on. Yes.
Okay. So it begins to light on fire. And I'm going to say at the end of the rat's turns, he'll take some fire damage. I'm kind of picturing that Woot is not actually in the shack, is like fighting it like in the doorway. So I don't think Woot is going to be affected by this, but the rats will be. And Woot is in a position to kind of prevent the bulk of the swarm from exiting unless it disperses. Which will bring us to Woot, who is hanging on to life.
So Woot's gonna pop a bottle of a really expensive potion that's minimum healing will actually be more than he can handle, and gulp down a greater healing potion.
I think that one's the
so
4d4 plus 4 version.
yeah, it's 44 plus 4, so technically it could d4 fully healed.
Boom.
So that is his action. Bonus action, he's gonna look a little stunned and just keep far enough away from the fire while trying to keep the rats in the cage.
Awesome. That'll bring us to Perhorn.
All right. I will fire another bolt of fire at these things. Just trying to catch them more on fire because it seems like burning a bunch of. Yeah, this seems like a bad idea.
I appreciate you cooking them for me.
Boom. 9 points of fire
Nice.
damage.
And yeah, I'll cast Sanctuary on Woot again.
All right. So it becomes the Cranium Rat's turn. So they got to do a Wisdom save to try to attack Woot, which they will attempt to do.
13. So they got to beat.
They do not make it. And they are going to take some fire damage from the burning shack. So, Kevin, do you want to roll me we'll say 1d6 this first round, and I'm going to have it like increase over time. Ooh, a big 6.
Nice.
And they are still stuck inside there. That's going to bring us to Orville. The rats in the trench coat are ablaze. You can see a number of them are dropping out of the suit and kind of scurrying away. It's getting a little looser inside the robes.
Okay. Why not? Chromatic Orb once more. Oh, jeez. There's no rerolls, so.
Roll me a d6.
D6.
If only you were a halfling.
I'm ready. Oh, not today. If he had rolled a 5 or a 6, we would have pulled a critical fail card, but not today. All right. That's everything for Orville?
Yep.
All right, Felix, it is your turn.
All right, I guess I will just do a. I'll come around and use my short sword.
Sounds good.
Also, trying to make sure they stay in there. Oof, nope.
That one, unfortunately, will miss. Yeah. Do you have like a dagger or offhand thing that you wanted to use?
I do. Well, I only have somehow the equipment. I would have taken a dagger, but I just have 2 short swords, so I figured that would not make sense.
If you want, you've got the torch, right? I'll let you. You could say that the torch is in your offhand, and you can make an attack roll with that as a bonus action.
Okay. So is that just unarmed again?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
and it's just a little crowded there, maybe by the doorway. Woot, it is your turn.
I mean, they're cooked now, so I gotta go after them.
Well,
Seven's probably gonna miss, but we'll go with the second attack or unarmed strike. 19, I think, hits.
19 hits.
6 points.
Right. Perhorn, it is your turn.
Eventually they'll die, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if you keep doing
Ooh.
10 points of damage, they will.
Nice.
10 points, that's very good.
And that's all I got.
Cranium Rats will attempt to do wisdom save.
No, he attacked, so they don't have to.
Yeah, no.
Oh, gotcha.
16's the perfect number.
Oh no. Well, it's not as bad now. I mean, it still could be bad. It's
I
only
can survive
5
that.
points. And Orville, it is your turn.
Orville's gonna do Ray of Frost.
Oh, that 20 was right there.
Oh, sorry. Cranium Rats should take some damage. So, Kevin, do you want to roll me 2d6?
Okay.
Keep him in the burning house.
Roll.
So another 5 points. Awesome. Thank you. Orville, you didn't have anything else to do?
No.
Okay. Felix, it is your turn.
All right. I'll go for my short sword. Oof, man, I cannot hit to save my life. All right, let's try the torch again.
We were rolling so good earlier. I guess we won.
There we go.
15 does it.
Okay. And that's
D4, just a unmodified D4.
Yep.
Awesome, 3 points.
Those rats are squirmy.
There's
That's
not.
what makes them so tasty.
It's shrunk a few feet now. It's just like a few. The little suit is just maybe a halfling in a suit now in size compared to the giant thing it was before. But that'll take us to Woot.
Yeah, we want to hit. 22 hits.
That hits.
It'll do 5 there, and then we'll follow up with the bite. I don't think a 10's going to do it, though.
10 does not. All right. Perhorn.
All right, I'm going to move forward 25 feet and throw another firebolt at him.
Oh.
Oof.
And miss.
Cranium Rats have a chance to get out of the burning building. Let's see. I think they're going to go after Woot again.
That gets me. Come on, low dice.
This is their chance.
Oh, that's a lot. I'm unconscious.
So with that, I'm going to say the cranium rats get out of the burning building in time before they have to take damage, and they kind of circle around to the backside of Felix. There's not.
Right.
You get the sense there's not too many in there, but they're still active and moving about. And that's going to bring us to Orville.
Orville's gonna move if he has to, so that he can get a clear shot of where they are.
Yeah,
And then he's gonna-
they're no longer under cover, so they're easier to hit now.
And then he's gonna fire Ray of Frost again. Come on, high number.
That hits.
Here we go.
Yes. Okay.
They're still
4
up.
damage.
Still up.
I'm done.
Felix.
Come on, Felix.
All right, come on, short sword.
There's like one rat inside the suit.
Can I get the last one? No.
Offhand attack could do it.
Attack.
Step on him. Step on him.
Oh my gosh.
10
I just
misses. And Woot.
Gotta push the death save button, huh? One on the bad side.
One on the bad side. Per horn, it is your turn.
All right. Let's finish this.
Oh!
Oh, that's rough. And I will move up to be beside Woot.
Sounds good. The rat swarm will take an attack on Felix. It's a 15 hit.
Yeah.
10
Oh.
points.
You gonna be
Yeah.
unconscious like me?
I am unconscious.
Oh man, the pendulum is swinging towards the rats. This is not good.
Oh, my
Orville,
goodness.
it's your turn.
Okay, Ray of Frost it is.
Get up, Orville!
$12 is the number.
No!
Oh, jeez.
You know, for $5, you could.
PPK coming in.
All right. Felix, death saving throw. You just roll a d20.
All right.
You want a 10 or higher.
Come on, 20.
So on a nat 20, the way I do it is you get the hit point at the beginning of your turn.
Okay.
So you got your turn. You have 1 hit point.
Stab those rats, Felix!
Takes half your movement to stand up.
Okay. So I can make 1 attack, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go.
You can do it.
On.
And
Yeah.
double 20s.
Damage.
So he's got. You can
Oh,
roll.
critical.
You can roll all the stuff. You get to
4.
double up on your sneak attack too, because he's up on per horn. But how do you finish this?
Well, there's just a couple of
Just-
them left,
just
so
a
I
f-
imagine it's just a matter of like skewering it to the ground, just driving that sword through the remainder of the cloak and into the ground, and skewering the last couple.
Absolutely. So you managed to finish these last
Yeah, save
remaining
us for
few
all.
rats off, and you'll be able to stabilize Woot. And
I mean, if you want to be kind, yes, but if you want to be accurate, I do have to roll 1.
well, that's true. Let's have you roll 1.
As long as it's not a 1.
Let's not have
Okay,
another
Phew.
critical
Maybe.
in a row of the other
Nope.
kind.
we're good.
So he's gonna be good. Do you want to name the culprit yet? Any thoughts?
Squeakers.
So what you're gonna discover inside that little shack that's burning up right now, there's gonna be a big pile of crispy brains in there.
Well, Woot, you still hungry?
It's a big pile of crispy brains. I think I know somebody that's harvesting brains.
Yeah.
And his name was Master Calloway.
Yes.
He's got more expertise than we gave him credit for.
He's been adding extra brains to the rats. That's what that odd taste was. The little accent of human.
So Master Calloway had learned the secret of the potions of longevity, and this angered him greatly as one of the Dustmen. There was no grander conspiracy about political factions or anything. It was just his feeling that this was an abomination, that these individuals in the town were extending their life unnaturally all these years. And once he learned about that, he sought out an arrangement with this swarm of cranium rats that had collected. And sometimes when cranium rats collect in such a way, they form a consciousness of their own. They found a mutual arrangement in which they would dispose of these heathens that were doing this, and he would have worked his way up to the dealer herself, Grelka, if you hadn't stopped. She would have been next. It wouldn't have been Moreland would have been a couple nights from now, but Grelka was in danger tonight, so you managed to put an end to this before that happened. So congratulations to you. Grelka will be someone that you will be able to buy potions from in the future, beyond just the standard healing potion array. So you have her as an ally. And the Harmonium are going to be ecstatic that you managed to piece this all together and managed to get an answer resolved before grander kinds of things started happening with, the Chaos Men claiming responsibility and it, becoming something more than they wanted. Hey, thank you for the follow. Han Shot First. That's an awesome screen name. Appreciate the follow. And the Harmonium, I was going to give each of you the 50 gold that they promised, but they also are going to give you all, not all of you, but they have one ring of protection that they will kick in as a bonus. You can decide who makes off with that at the end of this adventure. What else did you guys had the potion of longevity, which I think you still have, so that's something that we can figure out who has that. So yeah, any last thoughts, questions, things we need to resolve from this one?
Felix wants to have a long conversation with Woot about how to get out of Sigil.
Apotheosis. You see, the way Gods works is it's the number of believers. So if you and 10 others believe in me, and then 10 others believe in each of those believers, and then 10 others believe in those believers, eventually we'll reach godhood.
Like a pyramid.
It's exactly like a pyramid.
Yeah,
That's why
I've heard of those pyramid schemes.
That's why they're so popular among the gods. Always building pyramids.
Gotcha.
It's hard to believe in you, though, because you almost died.
One step closer to becoming a being of pure concept.
Yeah. Nice.
You've almost experienced death like I did.
It was a lovely place filled with the squeaking of lots of food. But Ouch, that hurt. Thank you for rolling low the first time, Alex. Those dice
I
looked
was
awful
like,
scary.
I was hoping. So, I didn't realize I'd have all. I was hoping for like a couple like level 2s or level 3s in this one, but, you know, we're still early in the Portals of Destiny campaign, so we got to level some of these guys up. With that,
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to give each of you 2 checkpoints. So those of you that are level 1, you will go to level 2, and Orville, you'll go to level 3.
All
Um,
right.
By the way, Kevin, thanks for bringing Felix, and thanks for hanging out. The double crits at the end, very
I know, right?
necessary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think the burning building actually did like a significant chunk there too, so that was pretty awesome.
Well, given Felix's combat abilities, I think it was probably the best use of his time.
So Felix the hero, Tuck says. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for hanging out here tonight. We're kind of in full Planescape mode, I guess. Between the community campaign, we got the Wednesday night Planescape game going. So hopefully you're enjoying this. It's something a little different than what we've had before, and this is our community campaign. So if this is your first time watching, there might be some newbies out there that haven't seen us before. This is a game you can sign up to play in these games. And the best way to do that is just to come and join our Discord server. This is an opportunity for you to come and play in a game with us and be a part of everything that we do on this channel. It's not just about kind of running our regular games. We also want to invite you to be a part of the fun too. So that's a great place to hang out, come chat with us, and sign up for games and be a part of this. We're raising a little bit of money here tonight as a fundraiser for Extra Life, which is typically something that we do in November, but there was kind of like a special thing going on tonight that I decided to, why not flip that on and do some fundraising for the Children's Hospital tonight. So thanks everybody who donated and was a part of that piece. We do have a week of games that will be happening it's like the 4th week of November. So there's going to be a lot of recruitment for stuff related to that. I have to put together a sign up, and I'll do that very, very soon I'm going to run a Dolmenwood game, but I know other people are going to be running some other things as well. So definitely jump in there for that. Anything you guys have to plug or chat about before maybe we'll pass a raid over to somebody?
If you happen to be swinging by Gamehole Con,
Oh yeah,
come say hello. That's next week, and there'll be a dozen or so of us hanging around there.
yeah, definitely.
At least a dozen.
There are dozens of us.
Yeah, look for the shirts.
We'll be at
Red or
Gamehole
blue.
Con. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Or other, that's another thing. Jump in the Discord server and let us know what conventions you're going to. Like, we've got people going to different things, and so Gamehole Con is the big one next week. But,
I think there's some folks heading to Mythic in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I was at Gen Con a few months ago. A number of us will be going to GaryCon in March.
Yep.
So yeah, we do all that kind of stuff too. So, all right, let's go. We'll pass the raid over to High Shelf Collective and say, yes, look at those huge fingies. Luckily, we don't have to look at them anymore. That's all done. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
Yeah, thanks for playing.